Okay, if you are in 7 Excel, we are working from the Advanced 2 textbook. If you are in Math 8, we are working from the Course 3 textbook. We are doing lesson 5.1, activity 3, and that can be found on page 203. Okay, so we've been solving systems of equations by graphing. They give us two linear equations, we graph them, and where they intersect is the solution for that system. Then we talked about sometimes it's not feasible to graph to find the solution, so we have to use a table, especially when we're talking about costs and revenues, and at what point do we break even. So today, we're kind of doing all of that, but sometimes instead of giving us a system of equations, we get a system of graphs. So sometimes they'll give us a system of graphs and ask us to write the equations. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. So in this case, instead of giving us a system of equations, the book has given us a system of graphs. So here we have two lines. This is where they intersect. And the book is asking us to write the system of equations for this graph. Okay. Well, I can see that I have two lines. And we know a line, the linear equation for a line follows y equals mx plus b. We know m is the slope, and we know b is the y-intercept. Okay? So those are the things that we know. So let's start with our lines that they've given us. Let's start with this one. So here's the line they've given us, and they want us to write the equation for it. Okay, let's start with our y-intercept. Right here, the y-intercept is when x is 0, what is the y? Well, when x is 0, my y is 1. So my y-intercept is positive 1. Now my slope, the slope, it's positive because it's going up. The slope is positive. And let's count the slope. I'm going to go up 3 and over 1. So my slope is positive. My rise is 3. My run is 1. So here's my slope. Here's my y-intercept. And then everything else we just fill in. Y equals 3x plus 1. So here's my equation. Y equals 3x plus 1. This is the linear equation for this line. Okay, but we're talking about a system of equations, which means more than one. So I need to figure out the linear equation for this line. Okay, so same thing. We're going to start with our y-intercept, and it looks like my y-intercept is right here. So it looks like my y-intercept is -4. Now we need to figure out the slope. So I've got 2 points. My slope is negative. It's going down. The slope is negative because it's going down. And my slope is going to be, I'm going down 2 over 1. So it looks like my slope is -2 over 1. Then everything else comes down. Y equals x. So here's my equation. Y equals -2x minus 4. Boom. Here is my system of equations. Y equals 3x plus 1 and y equals -2x minus 4. Here's the system of equations that represents this system of lines here. So it's the same thing we've done, except instead of one line, they're giving us two. They're giving us a system, and we're having to figure out the equation for each line for this system of equations. Okay, so I've got one more example for you. So in this case, they gave us the graphs, 1, 2, and we had to figure out the equations. Here, they're going to give us the equations, y equals -4x plus 1, and y equals 5x minus 8. And they want us to graph this system. Okay. So here's my graph. So for the first one, I'm going to start with my y-intercept, which is +1. My slope is negative. It's going down. And it looks like it's going down 4 over 1. Down 4 over 1. Down 4 over 1. Okay. There we go. Now we need to graph this second equation. So my y-intercept is -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My slope is positive, so it's going to go up. And I'm going to go up 5 over 1. Up 5 over 1. Up 5 over 1. And it looks like my solution is right here. It looks like it is 1, -3. So that's what we're doing today. They're going to give us a graph showing a system of lines, and we need to figure out the equations, or they're going to give us the equations and we need to create the graph. That's what we're doing.